Oh, there's Arla. You know Arla, right?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in years.
She's going to be here. I'm going to call her Peach Cobbler. I got to change the name, so that'll take. We'll give Beans a little more. Wonton Bill, I like that, man.
I was actually eating a wonton with some of my ramen earlier, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Add some little spring rolls and make it a whole breakfast or dinner. Actually, not really breakfast.
Okay. Well, if you guys come up with
I usually don't eat breakfast.
If you guys come up with a name for yourself, Pat and Robin, we'll.
I have no idea.
But yeah, we'll come up with something. It just usually hits me, and then if you like it, you like it, right? Anyway, I'm going to start the show because you never know with Beans. Sometimes he's old people like to have naps and stuff, you know. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, this is a nice little gathering here.
Yeah, I'm just putting my phone down. I had 3 or 4 people message me all at one time. So.
Oh, I better turn mine off. Some guy was going to call me, actually. Or did I turn it off? I think I did. Yeah.
I don't know.
People don't ever call me, and because I'm not really a phone person. And the only time they call me is when I'm on the show.
They know. I'm like propping all this up. I'm hiding out again like I always do in the bathroom so the dogs can't be so loud.
You're not using the loo, I hope.
Oh God, no.
That would be a first on the show.
If you see my face get funny, then then I'd be suspicious. But I think you're good for now.
Okay.
We're recording.
Yeah, we are recording, but we're not live yet. We're not live yet. There we go. Frank Oliver Beans. Hey, we got a new food group here, Mr. Beans. Wonton Bill.
Howdy.
Oh, hey, Bill. I didn't recognize you without your name.
Oh, nobody can pull off this handlebar mustache I got, though.
Yeah,
you recognize it.
That's world class there.
I did it one day, like a couple of years ago. And I was like, it just fits. Like nobody else is doing it, so I might as well.
There you go.
Now, what state are you?
Everybody's doing it.
Well, that just means I'm a trendsetter.
You'd be a good barkeep for a spaghetti western, that's for sure.
Yeah, you'd be like one of the what do they call it? The villains, I guess.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is this better?
There you go. Right out of the west.
Yeah. My saddle right here. Check it out.
Rocky Mountain Bill.
No, that's not a food group.
Oh, it's an ice cream though. Rocky Mountain ice cream.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's open to negotiation. For now, we'll stick with wonton. How's that sound?
I'm fine with that.
I'm just typing in just getting the show started here. Well, we haven't had you on in a while, Robin. But been at least a week. Been at least a week.
Hey, when I get done with yours, I have to go to another one. So
you do?
Yeah.
Well, it won't be. It'll be a sad comparison to ours.
I'm excited. I haven't been on that one before, so it should be fun. It's Phantoms and Monsters, but it's not with Lon. It's with Bernadette. So I'm excited.
What's it called?
It's on the Phantom and Monsters channel, but the girl's name that does the host is Bernadette. She did an interview with my friend Duke and was really sweet. So I'm excited.
How's Duke doing? I like Duke.
Yeah, he's good. He's going to be in Nebraska for our conference on the 21st. So
Duke, well, Westward Ho, Pilgrim.
All
So
right, live streaming, live streaming. Everybody be warned.
And on that note, we are live on the Pork and Bean Show. My name is Pork Cunningham, and I'm here with the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Beans. This is the Pork and Bean Show. And our special guests today are Robin and Pat McCRAY. And we got Arla Peach Cobbler stopping in, and we got Wonton Bill, otherwise known as Bill Steenbeke. He's going to share his first sighting experience with us. So hello, everybody.
hi.
So we haven't talked to Pat for a while. So Pat, what's been happening with you? What did you want to share with us today?
Been working. They always show up at work, and they do. They always come to my work. There was a young one last week, and he showed up behind me. I saw him, and I saw his outline and stuff like that. And he was right behind right beside the forklift that was moving. So I've had some pretty bizarre experiences at work, to say the least.
You had that one good picture. That one's looking in the window. Remember, that's a good picture you got. Remember that one that's looking in the window through the fan?
Oh, that. But I was on a forklift. Check this out. So I'm on a forklift. This is really bizarre. I mean, I've had it happen to me before. I hope I don't have dementia or anything, but here I go. So I'm on the forklift, right? And then I'm supposed to go to a certain lane. It's called the bin. And you pick all your stuff from that certain bin. So I go to the bin, and it's almost like, no, not almost. It was like I'm out of my freaking body. I'm not kidding you. And my body is on the forklift moving this stuff. And then I come back. I'm sitting there, what the frick just happened? And then it happened at FedEx too. I'm like in the back of the truck. And then I'm in the back. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting down driving. I'm sitting there, what the frick? It's like a time slip or something. It was really weird.
We can swear on the show, by the way, if you really want to. We do.
Yeah. He gets good pictures of him at work. He just started there.
No, I do have a picture of one. It's in the back, and I've got comparison photos too. You can clearly see the camouflage. You can clearly see it. I mean, it's just wild.
So you said you saw one. So what? It was like a shadow man figure kind of thing, or what did it look like?
Oh, the little one. When I see them, it's like I saw his outline, and I saw another one. It's like an outline. It's almost like a cookie cutter type thing. And I see him, and he's right there. And the one I saw over here on the road, I was going to work in the morning, and he had color to him. And he saw my headlights, and he covered his eyes. It's a really small, young Bigfoot. And I talked to him afterwards and stuff like that. But I've continued to talk to him here or there. And he was like shimmering almost. His color was like a reddish, and you can tell a shimmer to it. And a lot of the times, like in Indiana, a lot of the times these youngsters, I believe this is that they're not too attuned to doing the cloaking stuff. Now in Indiana, I saw a young one. He was going down an embankment into a washout. And then again, I saw him like he was totally blacked out, but I saw his figure. It's really odd. I mean, that's how sometimes I see him. And he was moving. And I'm actually looking right above and watching him crawl down into the washout. Now, you don't want to follow a youngster because mama's close by. And you don't want to, you don't need that in your life.
It's always a rule of thumb, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You do not want to be by the youngster when the mama's by.
What kind of conversations are you having with this youngster? Because you said you're having conversations with him.
I talked to him. I said, I asked him his name. I'm not gonna tell you the name, but he told me his name, and sometimes they make up a name, you know what I'm saying? So they don't have to tell their real name. Sometimes he calls me sir. He goes, yes, sir. And he says his dad liked me, and I asked him some things about some stick structures, and he told me some things about them. I mean, here or there.
Tell us specific, because that's something I'm interested in. Well, I'm interested in lots of stuff.
Basically, what the structure, pointing it to the sky, was basically to the star people. When you see a structure pointing to the sky, it's for the sky people.
Is that like
That's
a
what he
teepee
said.
structure? You talking about like a teepee structure?
No, not that. Those other ones that point up, you know what I'm saying? They're at an angle and they point up.
Can you be more specific? Because they all kind of.
No, well, you got some that are at an angle, 45-degree angle, something like that, or not a 45, but yeah, 45, and they're pointing toward the sky, or they're pointing directly to the sky.
Okay.
And basically, he says that's either I can't remember. I think he said it was just for the sky people.
Okay. As a message, or just to acknowledge them, or in what regard?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, he basically he told me he can't tell me anything anymore because his dad told him not to. That is the God for honest truth.
That's funny. Yeah.
I mean, you're giving away the fort, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't want. I mean, let's say, they've been at this a while, and they're not going to give away the fort to us or anyone, or give any ground, because they know that from the past that things have happened. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends on, I don't know. I mean, if you got a student-teacher relationship with them, I think that they give you information and stuff. But I mean, it depends on what you're talking about specifically. But yeah, I can see where they might want to keep stuff to themselves for sure.
Well, in my opinion of stick structures, it's a communication between Bigfoots. That's my opinion. And some of the structures that you see, they'll put babies in them while they go hunt. They'll put leaves around it, and they'll have a little enclosure for the baby, and then they'll go hunting. Stuff,
They used to do that at our place in Michigan.
You're not in Michigan? Oh,
Yeah.
no. You're down south with you're down with all the poisonous snakes and stuff now, right?
Oh yeah, lots of fun down here.
Yeah, we can't wait to move back.
Can't wait to get out of here. Can't even walk in the woods.
Well, the other thing is, I kind of believe what you're saying, because you're not talking with the clan that's living next door to you. You're talking with whatever clan happens to be where your work is, and so there's not a family, neighborhood kind of a thing, and they don't really know you as much as as
they come. There's tracks, railroad tracks, and there's woods behind that. And they come from there.
Yeah, that's where their home is, home area.
Not necessarily. I mean, but it's possible. I think they're probably farther away, deeper in the woods. I mean, they're not really going to live. my opinion, they're not going to really live close to humans and stuff like that. I mean,
Well,
they always have an owl.
don't you have Sasquatch that are living pretty close to you? They'll come and visit your house.
They come, they're all around the house.
Right.
Mike, I could literally go out on my front porch, which I do a lot of times, go out, take a picture, and I'll get something. I can literally take the picture, look at the woods, and there'll be something in the picture, but there'll be absolutely nothing there in reality. It's really wild.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But I think what you're saying is that, well, I mean, I think it's because if they're connected to certain people, and obviously like they are with you and Robin,
there's
they'll
a
just show up.
connection.
Yeah, they'll just show up where you are just because
Well,
that fact.
when you talk to them, basically, I mean, I believe that we are all connected to the universe. We're in a collective. And basically, when I say one word, and sometimes it's just, I think one word, a name of a Bigfoot, they come right across. It's seconds sometimes. And
Right.
that's what I'm talking about, a connection. And you can basically talk to anything you want in the universe. I believe that sincerely because I've done it.
You just got to be careful.
I know. She always tells me that. And
Have you,
I'm
got?
the boring part of the group.
I think
I'm the
that's
safety mom.
I think that's a fundamental
you.
truth that the whole universe is conscious and that they're all part of one big giant mind. And
it is.
Yeah.
Everybody is connected.
I agree.
They're not BSing when they say that. Everyone is connected. They are. I mean, if you look at their structures, right? Their structures are connected into the ground, right? The earth has energy in the ground. My wife told me this. And they're connected in the ground. And they draw the energy from the ground into their structure. That's why when you see some of them, they're still connected to the ground because they're getting energy from the earth.
Yeah, you can put your
Makes
hands in
sense
them.
to me.
Yeah, you can put your hand in them and feel an energy flux in some of them, not all of them.
You can feel the pulsating energy literally on your hand coming and it's pulsating.
I even say that beyond being able to sense it physically, they can see it themselves.
Yeah.
In a way that they can recognize it without having to go up into it and smell it or feel it per se.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say connected, you're also talking about we're all connected. Everything in the universe is connected. Everything is connected.
You just gotta get that.
You gotta tap into it.
You have to tap into it,
right.
She said. Everyone here is connected.
And then
you
when
gotta get rid of the ego and the preconceived notions and just open your mind and your heart and it connects.
And then I think when you begin to tap into it and you get that knowing of that connection, whatever, that's when you start getting the knowings and whatever, like, you just start because you're tapped into that, that knowledge or whatever.
I can, part of it is, I can actually tell when someone's listening and stuff like that. I'll talk to a Bigfoot. I'll see where they are sitting, walking, or whatever, in my mind, your third eye and stuff like that. And it's kind of neat in a way.
Yeah, I think we all feel that kind of a little differently. Like I know sometimes when I was having conversation with Tom Cantrell and Arla, and just talking in general about them, whatever, quite often I could feel their energy listening in. I just knew that, I just knew they were there.
Yeah. And I've had that with you, Brian.
With what?
I had that with you. I was talking.
Well, I am paying attention. I am listening.
No, I had basically when I talked to you maybe a few years back, and I actually felt a connection with you. Like my kids, I will sit here and I'll think of them, and then I'll feel that literal connection to them. And it's really wild. You have, like I always say, I always told this one, I had an interview. You won't know until you won't know what I'm talking about until you're in it.
Exactly.
how
I
it
agree with that. Yeah. You kind of have to experience it. What do you think of that, Arla? That
Yeah,
big
it's it's that thing past anything we preconceived before it happened. And for
Yeah.
so many people that I've worked with through the years, which has been a lot of years, it's been really it's really made me feel good when I'm working with someone and they get to that point and they go, well, why didn't you just put me there? Well, I can't put you there. You've got
No.
to connect yourself. And I don't know how
Yeah,
many people
exactly.
through
Yeah.
the years have said, I want what you've got. Give me what you've got.
And
I
you
can't
can't.
give you
Yeah, you
anything.
can.
I can be here with you. I'll stand with you as you learn. And as Brian can tell you, I'm not a teacher that tells you what you have to think, what you have to
You
do,
can't.
or anything else. And so, yeah, making that connection is one of the coolest things in your life. And realizing that we're all connected. We're connected to that rock. We're connected to that water.
Mhm.
We're connected to the air. We're connected to each other. We're connected to this universe and all the other universes. There's no separation from anything. We are all that spark.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think
They're
too,
not
we
kidding when they
can't.
say talk to the stones and talk to the tree.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Well, like Beans always says, no separation. Like there really isn't any separation between anything.
Well, you can't force somebody to connect. But I do believe that people can trigger other people.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
you can't tell somebody how to think and feel. You can say, try doing this or try doing that. You can't do it for them. But I do believe that certain people trigger other people, and they trigger them spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And sometimes that can help them to open up so that they can find their way to achieve it.
Well, having a safe space to talk to anyone
Yeah.
gives a person a chance to begin to open those mysteries themselves. And knowing that they have someone there supporting them, and they are much more readily to look at things that
Yeah.
they're thinking, and knowing that I have faith in them that they can do this. And that's what most people want, someone there to be with them and to have faith in them.
And
Then
I think
it's
too,
just
to
so much
understand.
easier.
Well, and I think to understand what they're going through in that journey and that progression to get to that point. A lot of people that contact me are like, I know I'm not crazy. This is what happened. This is what I experienced. And then this happened and this happened. It makes no sense. And I'm like, that's okay, because it does make sense. It hasn't made sense to you yet, but if you give it time, I promise you it's going to. Just, and I think they just need to get over that hump of someone that is willing to listen and to believe in their experience, because they already know what happened. They don't know how to process it. They don't know how to make it make sense. So you act like that support system for them, and they find more than, not, they find their way.
I think that's one of the big strong points of this show, is that we are a support system for all those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
all
agree.
a progression. And
Yeah.
like one day you'll learn something. It just comes to you, and like, for example, with me, it was like, I can look at a footprint and I can tell who it is. It's male, female, something like that, of Bigfoot. Now that just didn't, it just came to me one day, and that's how it goes, as far as with me anyway.
I agree with you.
You were just taught that.
I agree with you. One time I was with our friend Mark Roberts, and you know, like it just does come to you, some of these things, and they're amazing. I remember we were looking at a track, and all of a sudden I could see where it was walking. I could see the tracks like in my mind or whatever, or so, you know, like it's something I'd like to develop a little more, but you know, there's all these little hints of these abilities and stuff that we can tap into and uncover.
And they
so
decide
anyway,
when we're ready for it.
and,
Like
and
it's not going to go on our timeline.
I just wanted to say to Bill that we are going to get into your experience, but in the meantime, until we do, if you want to join in on the conversation, please do. You know, and contribute.
Oh, I'm listening. I like being a fly on the wall. So I mean.
Oh, well, that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you feel like you want to speak up, please do.
Yeah. Join the group.
I will.
You know, Brian,
I'm here just as much as you guys.
In those times when that happens, and Pat too, it's like, boom, it just happens. You didn't have any forethought about it.
True. Yes,
you weren't thinking anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how you know it's real.
You know that Pat was out of the way. Pat wasn't doing this. Pat was doing it, but he was doing it with that part of him that has that ability.
Well, but that's how you know it's legit. I mean, really, because you know that you don't have preconceived notions that are putting it in your head and forcing something that hasn't happened. That's how you know it's the real deal.
Yeah,
like for example,
I've had a lot of those kind of things. One other time, I had this, and I it was like I heard a sound, or then I had a knowing, or something. It was really bizarre. I can't even explain it, but I just knew they were letting me know that I was going to be able to see through the eyes of birds and animals at some point. Now that hasn't happened yet, but it was kind of like a precognitive knowing kind of thing. Yeah. And you know, just these one-off things of these abilities that we might develop and things that could take place in the future, kind of thing. So,
well, like, and before any of this happened, I always knew, I always felt that when I looked at a picture, there was energy in that picture.
Yeah.
I mean, I always felt that. And then getting into this stuff, I was right. So exactly right. And you can basically literally look at a picture and interact with the Bigfoot that is in that picture, if they're real.
Yeah. And you know what's also fascinating is that you can look at a picture, and this has happened to my wife and it's happened to me, and I'm sure a lot of people, is you can look at a picture, and then after the fact, they will add something to the picture. You know, suddenly the Sasquatch is in the picture when it wasn't there before, or
I've had that happen too. Something just appears.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even in doing audio, you can be doing an audio and you're hearing something happening, and then later you listen to that audio and that's not on that audio.
Yeah.
And so it's totally at their discretion.
Directional, directional, whatever, they direct. If they want somebody to see them, it's a directional, to let that person see. I don't know how they do it, but they block the other.
My summation of it. I mean, if you think of your aura, if you project the light around your auric field, that essentially becomes your reflecting the light all around you and becomes invisible. Does it not? Like, you do the same thing. There's new applications of science of these plexiglass that are just mirroring the light, just like this. So if you can, and we were saying earlier about we're part of everything. I think what our creator, our source, is the 98% of atoms that aren't the 2% electron, proton, neutron. that makes up that whole atom. So like we have 90%, the only 2% of things in existence differentiates us from everything, but the 98 conclude us, makes us part of unity. So using that electromagnetic field that Sabe have the knowledge to, that they are trained in, some are gifted in more than we are, and just as some are more medium or psychic compared to us humans, some of them have easier ways to deflect this light around them, so they can go around their whole entire lives being kind of invisible and going from place to place in portals, however they do. Or some aren't gifted with that, so they have to do foot travel, or have to figure out better ways to stay still and hide, and they're the masters of hiding. So they're all keys to different social things that we, in our own humanity, we deal with. They are gifted in other more advanced spiritual concepts than we can imagine, that they are having to adapt and are therefore differently socially structured in their own.
Yeah, what do you guys think about sort of like what Bill's talking about is so are the Sasquatch more apt to be born with these abilities? I know some of them don't use them as much as others, but is it something that they have to be taught as kids, or is it just innately in them?
Some clans, some of them don't have the abilities because their parents never taught them to use it. And then some clans, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Sounds like us humans, right?
Do you agree with that, Arla?
No. No, I don't. They're just like us. All of them have the ability. None of them have walked away from that ability. Some of them choose whether or not to use it, the same as we choose what it is we are doing. We have the same abilities that they do. There's not any difference. There are those who love their existence on this earth, their regular existence, like our existence is, so much that they don't use those things. They
it's a choice.
use them. Yeah, it's totally their choice. We all have those abilities, but so many have not come to the understanding of them or how to use them. Some have. I know with some of the grandmothers, the things I have seen them do, most people would go, that's got to be some kind of magic trick. But it wasn't. They remember, they know how. But like I said, there are those who are such masters at hiding. And I think they kind of, the ones that I've been around that do that, enjoy that ability of now you see me, now you don't, but I'm still here. Yeah. I'm not cloaking or I'm not doing anything else. I'm just here. And that's my belief of how it is and what I've experienced, that those that you're not seeing do that chose not to.
No, I think that's basically what Pat said too.
I think it has a lot. It has a lot to do with their chosen life. They have a huge, gigantic investment. Their whole life and culture depends on them not being seen.
Yeah.
And that's one of their almost every clan rule, whether they do it or not. They don't be seen. Don't let anybody see you. Don't let the animals see you. Right? And we don't have that. We don't have that investment. We don't have that urgent, soul burning desire to go invisible. And if we did, we could.
We do.
There's people who do it, huh?
We do.
Do that.
You do want to go invisible? That's what you
Well, I have, but
Hey, I'd like that.
Well, so have I, but I don't feel like doing it every day.
Yeah. No.
Well,
The general population is probably not going to say, oh, well, I don't know. A lot of them probably would, but I don't think they would really understand what they were talking about if they said. They
Do you
were.
remember that old native guy that when you were a kid and people
Oh,
were
yeah,
scared of
yeah.
him? And then why don't you tell us that story?
That was that was what now?
You saw
Afraid
him
of.
someplace, and then he showed up like miles
Oh,
and miles
yeah.
away.
The old medicine person in the
Yeah.
town I grew up in. Um, he would walk everywhere he went, never owned a car. And everybody around would say, oh, he's got medicine. So everybody pretty much, they were nice to him and everything, but you just didn't go up to him. I always wanted to, but I knew my grandmother would have me if I bothered him. But one day after school, we were doing what we call drag Main, just a small town, and we would take our car and go up and down Main and wave at people. And that one day, as we got down to the road that went out of town where he lived, he was there turning, walking out to his house, and he lived several miles out of town. Well, I told everybody in the car, I said, I'm going to stop and pick him up. He's got sacks and things, and he's got a long way to walk. And they were like, no, no, don't. He's got medicine. He's got medicine. So I didn't. But what I did was I went on the road that went to his house. And this old road was so bad. You had to drive down the middle of it. It was so bad. And no one passed us. And we met no one. And when we pulled up in front of his house, he was stepping up onto his porch with his sacks. And I so wanted to get out and go ask him, how did you do that? But I knew better. I knew that would be disrespectful, so I didn't do it. But there's a lot of things like that that I've seen a lot of elders do. And pretty much one of the stories of, and this was a Creek Indian man, is that some people could turn themselves into owls and do this. And in creeks, that's not a very good thing. And the kids would really be freaked out about it. But it's no different than seeing the things that I've seen some of the grandmothers do, moving things, and just amazing, all the time saying, we all know how to do this. We've just don't know who we are. And that's one of the things that the Sasquatch are doing, is bringing us
Right.
back to who we really are.
Well, we've all experienced the Sasquatch doing that. I mean, RE has been an
Oh, yeah.
owl, on a number of occasions, and they've observed me through the eyes or shapeshifted into ravens and stuff. So they're capable of that for sure.
Yeah.
So what do you? So I'm sure that Pat and Robin and Arla and whoever wants to comment on this, but yeah, we're born with natural abilities that we develop or just come to us, or whatever. But what abilities or what has been enhanced with what your gifts or whatever, if you want to call them that, what has been enhanced since your relationship with the Sasquatch people?
Yeah.
Did you want to talk on that as individuals? Maybe Pat and then Robin and
yeah, sure.
And,
for example, I just mentioned the footprint. Basically, like when I first started, telepathy and stuff like that. I mean, it would, it'd be words and stuff like that, but now it's like a 1 millisecond, and I know what they're talking about. It's almost like, geez, like a fast download or something. And
yeah,
it's kind of cool, 'cause
and they enhanced that in you.
Yeah, I mean, it started developing. I never had that before when I started doing this. And
Okay.
now it's like, some of them, they'll talk, and it's just like, it's like
Uh-oh.
He
Awesome.
froze. Mine did a minute ago.
Yeah, we'll wait on him. I like his expression though.
I know exactly. Now you see what I work with.
What happened?
You
You
froze, so
Oh, okay.
You were talking about being taken away, and then you got taken away.
Oh, I got took away.
Bye,
But,
honey.
you were talking about how they
Hi.
enhanced your ability to perceive their mind speak, like it's like a big download and it's instantaneous and voluminous.
Yeah, it just isn't Bigfoots and stuff like that. You know, you can talk to ETs and other, spirits and stuff like that. I don't like to talk to spirits that much. And other dimensional beings. And that I think that's been enhanced as well
Right.
over time. And there's probably more coming, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. How about you, Robin?
She froze.
No, she's frozen.
Well,
I
she
know.
started pretty
Our
early.
dang
Pretty early.
internet,
So
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. You
How
froze.
about you, Robin? I know you had abilities all your life, but have
Yeah.
what does the Sasquatch people helped you enhance in you or
Well, I've always had these, but what I've noticed, I mean, as you progress, and like Pat said earlier, this is a progression. It's like you never stop learning, you never stop growing. The abilities never stop. It increases, and the more you're around the Sasquatch people, and it enhances and it gets bigger and more things appear, and you may do things now that you didn't a year ago, and it's just this huge progression. But what I've noticed, they'll come to me and they'll say they want me to do various things in different places. Like 2 or 3 years ago, they sent me in to do a job for them in Tennessee. And so various places they'll want me to go, or they'll say, will you do this or will you do that? And, I always have free will. So I have the choice to say yes or no or whatever. And I generally do. As long as I think it's safe for our people and their people, then I have no problem with it. But what I found out is I can be as tired as anybody can ever be, and they'll want me to do something. And all of a sudden I'm given all this energy.
Mhm.
And if they want me to do something for them, all my abilities are enhanced. And all of a sudden it's even bigger than it was before. And there's always a new ability that gets tossed into the mix too. And I'm like, cool, never knew I could do that. But then they'll say, go do this, this, or this. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, yes, you do. And all of a sudden it's just this knowing that comes out. And then as soon as the job is done, I go back to normal. I still get to keep the new added ability, but I go back to being tired all the time or whatever. So when they need me to perform like a prancing pony, they kind of like enhance everything for it. Then I go back to normal, but I get to keep any of the new tricks they taught me.
do you think some of it, because I think this is how it is with me at times, is that some of it is not necessarily 100% because they can't do it, but because they want you to do it, because it's part of your teaching. And
it is. And part of it too, they need energy from us as well as theirs. And it's like that collective comes together.
sure.
And that collective of both parties is what they need for whatever it is they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever get that mindset that it's, oh, look at what I did, or it's me. That's a load of crap, because it's not. I'm allowed to do the things that I do, whether it's a God-given ability or an ability from the cryptids. I'm allowed to do it. I'm very humbled by that.
Mhm.
It's not a me thing. There's no me involved. But a lot of times they need, both sets of energies, because they are a different energy, in order to accomplish whatever it is that they want.
Yeah.
But like
Well,
when they send me different places to do these jobs, I already had the abilities before I go, but then I'll get there and it's like all of a sudden, instead of being tired, excuse me, all of a sudden I have more energy than I've ever had before. And I'll be like, well, I'm not really sure how you want me to do this. And like, oh, trust us, And then all of a sudden it's like the light bulb comes on. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do it this way. And it just like you go on autopilot and it happens.
Yeah.
And then when the job's done, I get to keep that ability. I go back to being tired all the time again, but at least I get to keep the ability.
I think you told me, and my friend Mary told me when they were doing some work with me with healing and stuff like that, that, you know, you never want to take the credit for it. You always want to be humble and give the credit to the guides and the teachers and just, you know, you're a conduit for them or whatever.
That's it. It's never about us. It's never about an individual person. Again, this comes down to a collective consciousness of everything. You know, you can't take credit for something that's not just you. It has to do with that entire group and collective. It's just, it's not about us. It's never going to be about us. It's about a collective universe.
Work as a team.
It's a team effort. It's like you can't have the ego. When you get the ego, it doesn't work. Like I work with a lot of people, just like Pat does, just like Arla does. And everybody has their piece that they're supposed to do. But when you get in that mindset that, oh, look at me, you're done. And they will pull those abilities away from you as quick as you got them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You just have to be, you
have
to
pointing back to a center of love, though, isn't it?
What?
It's pointing back to a center of love, for humility and love.
Yep.
It's to bring it full circle, to claim it yourself, you know?
You can't. And if it doesn't matter if you have 8.5 billion abilities and there's someone that's just learning how to mind speak, they are every bit as valuable and important and significant as you are. It is not about how much you know. It is not about how much experience you have. It's about you being part of the collective. And so you can never get in that mindset that, oh, I'm better than this person, because that's crap. It doesn't work that way. You may have 5 million experiences and you are no better off than somebody that just happened to find a footprint in the sand, because you have to come to in that collective consciousness for it. It's a 5 billion piece puzzle, and you may have every puzzle piece but one, and you got nothing, because without that final piece, you still don't have any answers. So that person walking around going, I don't know what this is, and you're saying that's the final piece, they're every bit as valuable as you. There's nobody out there that's more important than the other. I firmly believe that in my heart and my soul. It takes all of us together. There's nobody better than anybody. I do not believe in experts. I believe that we're all on a learning, and we all are taught different things, and we're not taught different things just because that's the way it panned out. We're taught different things to make us realize we need each other.
Yeah. Robin, your hair looks smashing. Susanna Bauer said that.
Do you know what it was? I went in to get it cut because it was getting way too long. And I said, I just want it layered before summer, but you can't do it really short because my hair, when it's cut short, is really curly. So just layer it so that it doesn't just hang like a mop on top of my head. She's like, okay. And I said, remember, as soon as you cut any weight off of it, it's going to kink up and curl.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew there was something different about it, and it looks good. It looks great, actually. Yeah. It does really look good. How long have you had your relationship going on with the Sasquatch people, Bill? And can you chime in on this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, so I had my first 8 years ago. So I'm 30 now. I was 22, and I didn't know it at the time. So, and then 3 years in the future, I heard a recording that let me know that it was there. But so 8 years ago, I was in the San Juans of Colorado and woke up to a scream bouncing off the rock canyon walls that were all like jagged, like, so, I mean, I woke up to it just like bouncing everywhere. So I didn't really know where it was. It was just a weird scream howl that I heard through the night, and then didn't think anything of it until I heard a recording 3 years later.
Wow.
But since I've come to that knowledge, I've had experiences in Wyoming, bunch since moving here to Oregon, North Carolina. So
you're on the radar.
Yeah, but how have they enhanced any abilities in you or whatever? Or do you know more stuff, or a bigger knowing, or just
definitely the knowing? I was already an old soul before my knowing of them, so being an old soul and their knowledge also kind of being meshed telepathically with me in times. Just again, the knowings of certain like things of why people are a certain way, or a thing about their own culture, like just releasing. We humans think we're so smart and trying to picture it. I mean, the whole idea of knowing and gnosis is to let go of our human structure of knowledge, to let our intuition and our mind to filter through the subconscious and the things that are just happening in the background of our mind that we have connection to at all times. And so, I mean, definitely telepathy, because I mean, they've worked it. I might have explained on my other, but the idea of putting your energy into a heart-centered love ball and exploding it. Like, well, I mean, that was just I'm very mental and mechanically oriented. So like I picture my my existence, or like my intentions, into energetic forces. But that idea of that energetic center of love that is key of who we are, has been a correction of theirs. Love. And I mean, one random thing here is like knowing which path they take around the mountain pass around here, you know, just asking it, and then boom, I got an image of going around just the other side of our mountain peak, you know. I mean, because our highways on this side, just as animals like follow our human paths down electrical lines and all that stuff that we do because of our own, right alongside are their footprints throughout history. So
very nice. How about you, Mr. Beans? I've never actually asked you that.
Ask me what?
Well, the question I'm asking everybody else. How have the Sasquatch enhanced you?
Oh, I'd say they saved my life in a way. Yeah. Well, for one thing, they initiated me into heart-light meditation, and that's pretty cool. So, because I'm just sitting here feeling my heart, and what kind of a gift what kind of a gift is it to have heart felt with every breath?
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say to that? That's what they can do.
So I didn't actually know that. I don't. Sorry, I didn't ask.
Feel your heart. You feel your heart. You can feel your bliss. Listen, this last couple of days, I woke up in the morning, and whatever I was snoring or whatever it was, but my whole heart, chest area, right, this whole where you put your hands up here, was just bliss. You know what I mean? It was bliss. It was not like bliss, like oh. It was just like that vibration of life, that vibration of love, just coming out and coming out. Every breath, it comes out and comes out and comes out. That's a nice way to live. I'm telling you, that's a nice way to live. It's worth the little effort that you got to learn meditation. Yeah. Follow your breath. But, that's where the life comes in. That's pretty much where the life comes in, is comes in through your breath. Spirit is a Greek word for breath.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that they were the catalyst of your heart, of your heart light group or whatever. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just kind of
No, they were teaching me how to go invisible.
Yeah.
But that's not what it was about. I mean, invisible. Like, I don't really care about going invisible. I'm pretty much doing all right being visible. But the idea was that's how they amp up their energy. That's how they have this massive energetic presence. And here's the thing about consciousness. A lot of people don't understand what consciousness is. Consciousness is the feeling of energy. Okay? Very simple. Consciousness is a feeling. The whole universe is a matter of energy. And if you feel that energy, you increase your consciousness. The more energy you feel, the more consciousness you have. And the flip side is, the more consciousness you have, the more energy you have. Okay, this is real simple stuff. And if you learn how to increase your energy, raise your vibrational frequency through your heart, then you can pretty much go invisible if you want to, or just about anything, you know. You can fill up the whole earth, the whole universe with love, really.
But I think it's
Yeah.
important to realize that when they're talking about energy, it's not a physical energy in the sense where I have so much energy I'm bouncing off the walls. It's a physical energy, yes, but it's within you. It's the energy within you. It's not an energy such as, you know, do I have enough energy to go out and play football all day long? It's not that kind of an energy.
Electromagnetic.
Yeah, it's a spiritual energy.
Yeah.
Your energy that you hold within your body. Because I've had people come up to me and say, you know, I have no energy. I'm tired all the time. I'm like, it's not that kind of energy.
It's your soul.
It's a
Although,
vibration.
yeah, although
Yeah.
they can give you that kind of energy
Well, they
too.
do. If they have work for me to do, I've got
Yeah.
more energy than if I was, you know, drinking energy drinks all day
Yeah.
long.
There's
And then
one
when the
thing.
job is done, I'm
There's one
tired.
thing about that is you can't. When I do this, like I'm like 73 real soon. I'm gonna next month. I'm gonna be 73, right? I don't have any inflammation, none, zero, no bad back, no bad knees, no bad joints, nothing, right? And the way I do
They've
that,
gifted me 2 different healing modalities this past year of how to like heal our bodies in different ways.
well, so when I do the heart light meditation, when I build up that energy at a certain point, I move it into my joints, I move it into my body because we are capacitors and we're you know, piezoelectric. When you move your body, you gain physical energy. So you can move your spiritual life force energy into your body, and that just oils everything up. I mean, I was walking around the block yesterday and I felt like I was on ball bearings. Everything was just
Yeah.
smooth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
I'm 73 years old, and I'm living like I'm more, what do you call it, congruent or more flowing than when I was in my 20s.
I think we should pen that statement. That is the best explanation I've ever heard in my life. A spiritual life force energy. That is perfect, because I've always wondered what is the best terminology to use when I'm explaining this to people, because they automatically, when you talk about energy, they think that it's just how much energy do you have to get through the day, or physically, or do I have enough energy to go out and play football or do this or do that? And that's just not the right type of energy. That is perfect, Mike.
It's part of it though, but it's much bigger than that. Like
That's
Mike
the
said.
best explanation I've ever heard in my life. A spiritual life force energy, because that is exactly it in a nutshell. That's the best I've ever heard it described.
Yep. I
And
agree.
we have 4 colors of that energy. Our mind, right, is what we think of in terms of spirit, but that's also an energy center. And so there's this blue energy that comes out of your mind, and in your heart is green energy, which is the vibration of love, and in your belly, that's your emotional energy, your power energy, your you know, sex and food and all the power stuff. And then there's a physical body energy. So we have 4 different frequencies of energy within us, and they're all meant to collapse into the heart. And that's why I call a Sasquatch archangel class heart spirits. That's
Yep.
to me what they are, because they can do things with their heart that I've never seen any other. Even living masters, even enlightened beings, Sasquatch can match or equal them.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's changed my life or anything, but it's definitely made my life more valuable. I feel like I owe them respect and honor, you know. You know, they could play jokes and have fun and stuff, or all that kind of stuff, but I respect them because I know what it takes to be an enlightened person. You know what I mean? There's sacrifices that are made, you know, by their ancestors so that they can go invisible and do the mind speak and balance out the energy of the earth and all the stuff that they do, and keep the numbers of the animals and the right numbers of animals for the plants and all that kind of stuff. They're amazing beings, actually.
Yeah,
And then we go in and screw it all up.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
well.
yes and no. I mean, there's somebody was saying that they figured that they figured it out that there's been about 500 civilizations that got to the speed that we are at, right? 500 before us, and everything gets wiped out and everything gets started over again. So there's nothing we can really do to hurt Mother Earth, really.
No, we
You
really
know,
No.
can't. Just
she's
be
like,
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
Arla,
disrespectful.
Miss Cobbler, you want to
Yes.
chime in? You want to chime in on the question?
Yeah. Love, joy, compassion, and peace.
Hmm.
It that they have brought and so readily share with everyone, anyone. They're right there waiting for a human to totally grasp this. I've been through a lot since I came into this several years ago, but they never let me lose sight of that love that's there, that place of the knowing and understanding that everything else is inconsequential.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have to go through those things, but being in that space,
Yeah.
it is the totality of who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
reaching for. And just knowing that and feeling that, knowing them all my life and so many other lifetimes before. This lifetime, I have seen so much more outpouring of that love, not human love, but as the Bible says, love that passeth understanding. And that is what the place of knowing or the knowing is knowing that love. And, I don't worry about anything, nothing. There is nothing that I can't face
Yeah.
because I know,
That's lack of fear too,
yeah,
which is
I
part of
know
the
that,
knowing and the love.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
that lack of fear
It's
comes
because of the
with that
knowing and the
love.
love. Well, that's
No
that's
demons, no
yeah.
demons exist. Nothing like that exists in that space. And being able to be in that space is amazing. And for those who have gotten to that space, it's like you totally understand that you don't have to think about it or anything else. It just is. And that's what it is. It's that place that
Yeah.
takes us past what a human
Yeah.
would understand.
When I had that love zappa, that's what I said too. It was I had no need for any questions. It just is,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah.
love, and it was just complete.
But
And
all their emotions are deeper than our type of human. They are. I mean, their love, their compassion, their anger, everything is at a much, much deeper level than ours. We don't even scratch the surface. And when it comes to love, we have no concept of how deep love goes, but they do.
I think we're
Well,
capable of. I think we're capable
are.
of it, though. We
Yeah,
we
we
have
are.
that. We have the
Yeah.
ability. We just don't have
Yeah.
the. We just don't. We haven't lived it enough. You know,
I think
We
we are.
get bits
Ooh.
and pieces of it, like Brian calls love zaps. You get that, and in that space, and what we're learning is to be in that space
Mhm.
and
just
to
got.
honor that space. And then everything else is inconsequential because none of that exists. None of the
Yeah.
horrors that we see of
No.
life or anything else exist in that space. If you want to call it heaven, you can call it heaven. You can utopia, you can call it whatever. but it is that space. And I think what I love the most is seeing people express that when they've had it, when
I
they've,
call it the love bubble.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're just ensconced in the most
yeah,
pure and unbelievable love you've ever felt.
Oh,
yeah.
unbelievable.
And
Yeah.
nothing human about it as far as what we know as human. And I think that probably is the greatest gift of everything for me, or the greatest learning, is to know that space.
We're
And
all
I don't live
talking.
in it. I don't live in it all the time.
No, we're all
But,
talking about exactly the same thing. And yeah,
yeah,
that's true. I like what you said. We don't live in it all the time, because I fall back, like, I mean, I wish I could be like, I'm in it right now because I just got hit up with a big, big
yeah,
thing. But yeah, but it's not, it's not like it's a magic potion. You have to work at it,
yeah.
and you have to remember, and you have to practice it, and you have
And you
to,
have to let go.
yeah, yes,
Let
yeah,
go.
yeah. Well, I mean, when I got mine, it was Raj. I knew it was. She was the
Yeah.
one who gave me that,
Yeah.
and that's forever. Just gonna
That was
start.
such a special time when she came into your life. It was just amazing. I'm so
I,
blessed to have been able
you know,
to see all
yeah,
that
yeah.
transpire.
I've noticed with you, like, you have with my guys, you have a close connection with all of them, Marla, and you adore RE. How could you not? You Bud tickles the hell out of you. But I think you have a special love for Raj too.
Yeah, I do. I do. She is very special. And then she came to Okiedom to get a mate. So I mean, what the heck?
Where did, yeah. Where did this is a beautiful conversation. Like, we're all, yeah, it's I could say, I guess if I wanted to talk, I'd say the same thing, just the knowing and the love and the heart
Yeah.
space, and just the lesson, all of that stuff is I give them the credit for opening that up in me.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
not about being perfect. I don't want anyone to get the idea that this is about being a perfect person. This is totally about just letting go of all your preconceived ideas, and it happens. It just happens, like, with you, Todd, it just happened
Well,
with
and I
Ross.
think it's acceptance. And it's really sad because they accept us, flaws and all, but yet our people are not as accepting of them, which is really sad.
Yeah, that's that human part of us that are still trying to accept things that are not like us. And
Yeah.
that's been a human thing, I think, from the beginning when we were put here. And that's part of our learning too, and our growth, is to get past seeing differences instead of seeing connection.
Well, yeah, that's the way that we're kept apart, is by those lies of division and judgment and all those things, and everything that are actually not got nothing to do with who we are. But it's easy to control us where we're in that state of mind, and so yeah. Bill, go ahead, Beans.
Good medicine.
Yeah. Bill, did you want to share?
The Indians talk about medicine, right? Good medicine. And what does medicine do? It heals you. It puts you on the right track. It makes you whole again. And that's what shamans do. That's what healers do. That's what the Sasquatch people do. Um, and I think that's what the trees are doing. So that's like they call medicine, but it's all about that whole unity of being, and you know,
Now,
making you right inside.
when we heal ourselves, we heal everyone. Everyone gets a piece of that. It's not just ours. And we have that within us, like you were talking about a while ago, being in that heart space and changing all that. I'll be 74 this year. And I had to go through a major wreck and cancer surgery and some other stuff to have inflammation. But a lot of the things that I've noticed is that I don't have to have that inflammation. You know, I don't have to. I was always proud and said, you know, I could do anything. I could physically, I could do just anything I set my mind to do. And the wreck and cancer surgery and everything taught me I need to be in a little better space if I think I can do something. So that's been an awesome life
Yeah,
learning.
that doesn't mean you're not going to have adversity. You have just huge adversity,
Nope.
but you don't drop the gratitude, you don't drop the appreciation, you
Mm-mm.
don't drop your connection to yourself or to your heart or
Nope.
the creator or to your
Nope.
friends. And it's like that's like the whole game right there.
Yep. Yep. If anything, what that adversity helped me with is being able to talk to someone who has gone through a life-threatening thing and their life is probably not going to be what it was like before. I understand that now in a way I never did. I also understand now when someone says they tell me I have cancer. I totally understand that feeling, and anything that we learn through life, we learn those things to help others. And so if someone comes to me and talks to me about that, I have an idea of what they're going through. And for every life experience any of us have had, it's done to be able to help someone else I know.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. I think, people feel so hopeless. Some people feel so hopeless and helpless these days. Like they look at the situation in the world and whatever as some big, impossible thing that what can I, as a small individual, do? But what we can do as that small individual is just exactly what we're doing, being that heart
Yeah.
space and the no judgment, the love, and all that stuff, because that's the greatest work that we can do, because it's always passed on to somebody else, and it goes out to the universe. And so just be the best that we can be as individuals, and live up to the lessons of the love zap, or wherever you want to describe it, and live that way. And that's how things change. That's how things change. So it's not a big impossible thing to change the world and to change our collective consciousness and whatever, but it has to start with us. It can't start with trying to figure it out on a like a political way or something, or some other way. It's got to be on the energetic level, and the way that the Sasquatch are teaching us and reminding us to do it. That's what I think. So it's not so don't be helpless, don't be hopeless, just be you, and remember who you are, and that's what the advice I would give to everybody who's listening.
Be compassionate. That's the one thing that our type of people really lack. And I don't mean that everybody, but I mean a lot of them, is simple compassion. My daughter was in the hospital last week, and she's pregnant, and she ended up having to have emergency surgery. So we're waiting, and she was in bad enough shape that even while we were waiting for a room, they put her on a bed in the hallway. And right next to her in the hallway was this woman, and she was probably 90 years old. She was blind, had dementia, and all she wanted was compassion. That was all she wanted. She couldn't see anything. She was blind, and she was talking to herself. And she's going, hello, is there anybody there? Because she can't see, and my daughter and myself, as bad as my daughter was, and it had gotten significantly bad. And yet we're still talking to her. You know, we're going, it's okay. You're going to be okay. You know, yeah, there's people walking around you, but you're going to be fine. All you need to do is rest. And we're sitting right here. No harm is going to come to you. And, you know, that's what the Sasquatch teach us. They teach us compassion. I mean, they teach us a great many things, but that's one of them. And you tend to learn that there's so much more out there that's bigger than ourselves. And we are part of a collective. We're not just us. And it doesn't matter how bad it gets with us, because there's other people out there suffering as well. And if you're not compassionate with each other, you're not going to get that back when you need it. You know, I mean, it's all about togetherness.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.